And I believe we should be live now. So welcome to anybody that just came over from our local search webinar. We do have a few questions that came through.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to go right in.
No, so the first one came in from Becky, which was a really, really good question, which is, what is the best way to determine which directories are applicable? So essentially, I would say that pretty much all directories, like if you run that free SEO report that we offer, that's going to kind of spit out the top, I would say the top 100 is what that spits out.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so that spits out the top 100. So that's going to give you an idea of what kind of those most influential 100 are. And then for me, I think they're all applicable for any, as far as, because it really doesn't matter what industry you're in or what, you could get a little bit more niche in it if you get really granular, but for the most part, for any small, medium business, if you want to cover those first 100, and I think you'll be in pretty good shape. So I don't think there's really any more that are applicable than others.
I agree. So like Yelp, for example, obviously, especially here in New York, very powerful for restaurants. That doesn't mean that you can't use it for any other industry. If you have a physical address, sign up for Yelp, put in your information, make sure everything's accurate and consistent. That's just an extra a signal to Google that, this information's accurate, you should rank us for whatever industry you're in.
But I will say, use that tool, and it'll help you understand those top 100 really kind of super important directories.
Okay, next question coming in from Rebecca. What is a local search compared to mobile search?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so...
How would you break that down?
So, as we mentioned, the local search is basically kind of a what plus a where. So you're searching for a restaurant or a plumber or something plus a location, and you can do that either from a mobile device or a desktop device. Whereas a mobile search is kind of any search coming from a mobile device.
Yeah, but I think to note though, I will sometimes, if I do a mobile search and say if it is something a little bit more broad, let's say if I do type in pizza, it will typically understand kind of where I am. And again, that's like just how smart search engines can be.
Yeah.
It understands kind of where you are, what your location is, because your phone typically has your GPS on, running through apps and all that stuff. So they're still, for the most part, I feel like they kind of deliver similar results because it does understand what you're trying to do.
Like it used to be a pretty big difference. Again, like I said, there used to be a desktop version and a mobile version. Now it's going mobile first. So basically, even when you search from a desktop, you're going to get the same results you would get from searching on a mobile phone. So the lines there between mobile and desktop are blurring.
Yes.
But local, it's basically, it has that location component to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next question.
Barry, how do you control cost of clicks and paid ads? So I hope you don't mind. I don't do much in paid at all. So and that's why you ran through all the paid stuff. So I'm gonna toss this one on you if you don't mind.
So essentially, the way the bidding works is you can actually put in a bid. And whatever your maximum bid is, that means that you might actually be limiting yourself from showing up in the search results for that keyword if you're getting outbid by your competitors. You can also set a daily budget or a weekly budget or whatever. You can set a budget for however much money you're willing to spend, right? It could be $5 a day, $50 a day, $10,000 a day, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then really it's just a matter of what other people are bidding and if you're willing to beat them out for it. So it kind of fluctuates depending on the keywords that you're bidding on.
Thanks for that.
I mean, it's kind of, really, when you get down to it, organic's kind of similar. It's basically how much effort are you willing to put in to rank for keywords if your competitors are putting in more effort.
Another one?
From Art, when I search my business name, a paid ad pops up from a competitor.
Yes.
That's actually very common.
Yeah, it's a common tactic.
So they are literally bidding on your business name. One way to fight it is to outbid them, really. Unfortunately, you can't stop them from bidding on a name, so...
they're trying to steal business, for sure.
Basically. So that's actually why it's so important to kind of go after all three sections. So somebody's basically trying to pay to get above your maps result and your organic results. So you can pay to get above them in the paid results. The good news is that more people do trust organic results.
Yeah, very
So,
true.
Yeah, most clicks are going to go into the organic section. That doesn't mean the paid isn't worth it because you are only paying when somebody clicks.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth bidding on your own name, especially because Google does have kind of a relevancy factor. So if you're bidding on a keyword that's going to the site that's clearly for your business, you might actually outrank your competitor and pay less than they are. So there's not all hope is lost. Okay, next question. We have a comment. Where are these comments? Just 1 second.
We're trying to figure out how to get to the comment section. Bear with us.
We're gonna have to have our producers over here read it to us. 'Cause
I recently
we do SEO, we don't do
Yeah,
SEO.
I recently did a Google test my site, and it said it was slow. Modern Web Design says use lots of pictures.
Yeah, that's a really good question too. So there's also, I'm sorry?
Restate
Oh,
it.
yeah, so the question
Okay.
was that this person did a test through Google to test their speed, and it was slow based on this test. And they were also told to use lots of pictures. So,
Told to use
To-
lots of pictures, or that it was because of the pictures? I'm assuming it's because of the amount
well,
of
it's
pictures.
definitely because of the pictures.
Yeah, so there.
But we're supposed to use a lot, so what do we
Yeah,
do?
you do want to do imagery, like have great imagery, but yeah, there's works around to.
Yeah, there are. There are some tools out there to, and again, you could probably do a Google search and kind of poke around some that might be. I don't know exactly what your website's running on. If it's running on something like WordPress, there's some really great plugins for that that will help essentially compress. You won't lose any quality of the image, but it will help compress the image file size. So essentially, it will lead to a faster website.
Yeah, and before you even upload your images, you just think about where they're being used. So if it's in a blog post, for
True,
example,
yeah.
you don't need an image that's 2,000 pixels in width, for example. So you can actually fight a lot of it
Okay.
before you upload the image just by adjusting the size. Then you can compress it, and you're actually going to save a ton of room.
Yeah. So they mentioned
yeah.
that the question came in from someone on the Wix platform.
Yeah.
So again, I know I'm very familiar with WordPress and Drupal and whatnot. Wix, though, I do feel like since they're starting to build out a lot more resources, that they do, because I feel like over the past year they've built out quite a bit.
Yeah, they did.
So I do think they might have, again, do a search. I'm sorry, I don't know right off the top, but I would do a search and see if there's anything out there that Wix offers for
Yeah.
resources
And-
to help compress
And
files.
even if they don't, I mean, the whole readjusting the size before you upload will definitely help either way. And
Yeah.
there are compression tools that are completely free. Just Google them. I'm sure a bunch will pop up, so you can run them through the compression before uploading.
Yeah, I do like a quick search for like image compression tools, in case Wix doesn't have anything.
Next question.
From Richard, my
So,
my
go ahead.
my business. What is that? Rarely, my business rarely has new information. What do you suggest I do for new content? It's a doozy. Right,
Yeah, it's tough
write
to answer
something
without knowing what the business is, but it doesn't have to be news necessarily. As long as I think people really get bogged down into
It's not easy
their
to
own
write.
expertise.
Yeah, and it's not easy to write content.
Yeah,
You know?
it's also not easy to write content.
Yeah, it's really
but-
not. It's not easy to write content. I mean, we have our team here of however many writers that are going through ideas, and yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, but you just want to. I mean, the Google keyword tool is really a good place to just dump in some keywords. You might get some blog post ideas,
Yeah.
or some content ideas, but it is very, especially when you're just in the trenches every day. It's kind of hard to remember that not everybody knows what you know.
Yes.
And just the thing that seems so simple to you isn't necessarily simple to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like sometimes it's easy for our writers here because they're constantly on the outside of the business, taking a step back, and also too they're utilizing some of those tools that we utilize, getting ideas from the Google Planner and whatnot.
Yeah,
so yeah, typically I like to take a step back. I think is a good starting point.
Just figure out a way that you can somehow add value. So if you're a plumber, for example, you can put out a YouTube video about how to unclog your toilet.
Mhm.
That's not news or industry specific, whatever updates, but
Get creative.
it's content, and
Mhm.
people will actually find it useful. Next question. Amy, I have multiple locations. Do I need listings for everyone on every directory?
That's what you got. So yeah, essentially yes. If you have a multi-location, that's when things get, I feel like really, when I work with a lot of multi-locations, that's when things get really complicated and a lot messier, because then Google's trying to understand, and directories are trying to understand if it is a multi-location, and if you have different addresses and different telephone numbers, and it's trying to match a lot of different things up. And again, I think a lot of people think the internet is perfect, because we just use it every day and sit on it, but there's still a lot of manual work and software and stuff that goes into it. So yes, multi-location stuff does get tricky, but yes, you do need that for every location.
Yeah, especially, you don't want to just have one directory pointing to one location, one directory pointing to another location, because that's really going to cause issues to where Google doesn't know which address is the same. If you have several Google My Business listings,
Yes.
and then you have your top 100 or whatever it might be directories point to each of those because you set up those accounts for every location, then it's clear that, okay, there's several locations, all of the information is consistent, it's accurate. So yeah, in short, the answer is yes. So I believe that's it for the questions for today. If you do have any more, or if you want to get started with SEO or paid search for your business,
Visit us, vivial.net, call us, telephone numbers listed everywhere.
we'll be very happy to help and spend more time with you than we did today, because you guys are awesome.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.